honesty the answer.
With the power of Tandem HR, you are in the fast lane on Main Street with Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs. Now, the champion of networking, the advocate of jobs, the guru of business, your host, Shalom Klein.
We are all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship and business. We talk a lot about business here. You're on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you are there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information you will not want to miss. You can call us. It's a live show, 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. And we are powered by our good friends at Tandem HR, your solution center. Check them out online, tandemhr.com, or give them a call, 630-928-0510. So I have two people here with me in studio, and one of them is dressed up like an IRS agent. And that actually is my father. It's a Halloween-themed Get Down to Business this week. Thrilled to be joined by returning guest Moshe Klein of Moshe Klein & Associates. I kid. You're not actually dressed up like an IRS agent, but you are trying to make sure that people are not attacked by them. Is that correct?
Absolutely, Shalom. First of all, thanks for having me back. It's absolutely great to be here. I am dressed up as an anti-IRS agent. How does that sound?
I like that. That's great. Well, Halloween themed once again. But all kidding aside, we are entering November, which means that in reality, there's only 6 real working weeks before the end of the year. What should small business owners be thinking about in these critical, final, albeit festive and holiday-themed upcoming few weeks?
Well, definitely about 6 working weeks and about 60 days left until the start of yet another tax season. The importance of bookkeeping to small businesses really cannot be overstated. It's really the foundation stone for success in small business across the board. And in those 60 days, there's a lot to do if you're a small business owner and you've not yet begun to think about putting your financial books and records together. There's still time, however. And I think that would be the most important thing I'd want to call out today is that now is the time. If you've done it, kudos to you. If your records are in good shape, that's fantastic. Tax season will not be complicated or difficult for you. But if you haven't done it, now is the time to prevent problems.
Well, the beginning of the new year marks the beginning of tax season, which is a time that I know I won't be seeing you around very much at all. But I putting aside the taxes for a moment, accounting and bookkeeping is not just about tax preparation, although I think it feels like that to so many people. It's also good business practice. Talk about the benefits of proper record keeping as business owners wrap up their year.
Yeah, I talk about it actually every single day of the week because bookkeeping, like I said earlier, is the foundation stone of success in business. And bookkeeping, which really is the proper recording and coding of the revenue trend, the deposits that a small business owner would make into his or her checking account, and of course the expenses, the checks that you write to pay your bills, properly coded and properly reviewed bookkeeping and the coding of those income or revenue transactions and the expenses can have a huge impact on the tax return. A simple example that I give all the time would be the proper way to code an expense for a meal. Now, most people think, well, if I spend money in the course of my business on a meal, well, of course it's tax deductible. It is, but not necessarily at 100%. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that the cost of an employee meal could be deductible at 100%, but taking your favorite accountant out to dinner may not be. It may only be deductible at 50%. And it's those type of things that can have a huge impact on a business's bottom line and their tax liabilities during the tax season.
So all important reasons to pay attention in these final weeks. But once again, we're chatting with Moshe Klein, my father, the president and CEO of the affordable accounting firm of Moshe Klein and Associates. And I'm curious if you have any tips or advice for entrepreneurs that might be listening. We talked about the importance of proper record keeping. What about how to stay organized and how to keep the books in line throughout the year? Maybe there's somebody listening to the show now that might make this one of their New Year's resolutions to start out the year right.
Well, considering that there's actually, according to the IRS, I think several million small business owners that have not yet filed their 2015 tax returns. It's probably more than one person. But yes, over and above the importance of keeping good records, it's important to have a system in place, which I know you are mechanical about. It's in your DNA. Everything needs to be organized. We recommend highly QuickBooks. So we use exclusively QuickBooks in our office, but many wonderful software packages out there. Whatever system you as a small business owner use, keep records. Set a time, a certain part of your week or your month, to make sure that your financial records are in place. That's probably the most important thing that I could recommend. Whatever system you use, just use that system, stay with it, and stay on top of it. One of the other challenges that we see regularly, and it's a costly problem that small business owners face, is that when they don't prepare their financial records properly throughout the course of the year, they have to do so at the 11th hour before filing their tax return. And it is more common than not that costly mistakes will be made. So that's the best advice I think I can give right now.
And finally, we're about a week before the 2016 general election. Regardless of the outcome of the election, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, or as George was mentioning to me earlier, an unexpected outcome, perhaps. There's a lot of new regulations and there's a lot of changes that have already started taking place, as well as there's talk about changes in the future, whether it's around healthcare or other issues. Are there any specific changes or tax laws that you can point to that perhaps our listeners can benefit from or should be cautious about to make sure they are protecting themselves?
Oh, absolutely. Well, there's so many changes for the coming tax season that we are not even ourselves aware of. But I think probably the most important thing I can call out is just to make your listening audience aware that there are some changes relative to filing deadlines and obligations that most people may not be aware of. First and foremost, one of the most overlooked deadlines is the January 31st deadline for the filing of the 1099s and W-2s. Employers and business owners who paid out more than $600 to an unincorporated entity. Let's say you had some drywall work done at your office and you paid more than $600 to that contractor, you would be obligated to issue a 1099. So that is due to the contractor and to be filed with the IRS no later than January 31st. If you haven't written out a list or used your software package to keep a running record of who those contractors are, now is the time to do so. March 15th is the deadline for filing partnership and S corporation tax returns. Now, in prior years, the C corporation returns were also due by March 15th. This year, a change is that they're allowing C corporation returns to be due on the 15th of April. There are strategic reasons for that, and that's a good thing. So in addition to the personal returns that are due April 15th, the C corporation returns.
So lots of deadlines coming up on the calendar, and we are almost out of time, but I know part of the tagline is the affordable accounting firm. How we talked about software earlier. How is the firm of MK&A able to keep the costs so low? Tell us a little bit about that process in our minute remaining.
Well, absolutely, it's my pleasure. The affordable is really affordable is the operative term at our firm. We offer bookkeeping and accounting packages monthly, starting at $99. We're able to do so because we've invested heavily in a proprietary software package that really allows the computer system to do most of the bookkeeping work for our small business clients.
Amazing. I want to make sure our listeners can get a hold of you to learn more about that automated, affordable process, as well as talk about the upcoming deadlines and the many, many tips that you have to share. If you don't mind sharing some contact information with our listeners.
With pleasure. We're always glad to take questions at 888-432-8187. That's our toll-free number nationwide. And they could reach me by email, Moshe, M-O-S-H-E, at mkabusiness.com.
Fantastic. Moshe Klein of Moshe, the affordable firm of Moshe Klein & Associates, 888-432-8187. Coming up, Linda Nichols, our returning guest of IMC Solutions, has a lot to share. You won't want to miss it. You're listening to Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Once again, lots more tips, advice, and information.